As you can see, in hindsight, there is so much more wrong with the game than just the wishes menu come the mid-game of evil mode. But the fact that all of these severe issues with the game are all starting to boil over simultaneously means now more than ever, the player needs to be thrown a bone. We need to throw some new mechanics into the mix to bail the player out of the hellish grinding nightmare they're about to be thrown into if something doesn't change soon and fast. As a result, the wishes menu needed to be good to save this part of the game. And well, here we are. We have finally arrived at the namesake of the video. Yeah, this menu fucking sucks. Down to the very core concept, the wishes menu is fucked from step one. The whole idea of the wishes menu is that it's the menu where everything takes forever to do and requires a ludicrous amount of resources. In fact, the game symbolizes it using a fucking snail. They knew what they were doing. Which, wow. Isn't that just the last fucking thing you want during the slowest and grindiest part of the game? A menu whose whole point is to be ridiculously slow and grindy. But hey, at least the idea would be that once you finally unlock some of the bonuses locked behind these wishes, the payout should be pretty huge considering the time you've been forced to wait. Right? Well then, I guess we should take a look. What's the first page of wishes like? To start, we've got the ability to wish for a 5% speed boost to your wishes. Okay, just gotta wait a good 10 hours to get that, I guess. What else do we have? +1 level to MacGuffin drops. I mean, okay, that's not terrible, but I'm also not particularly impressed. What about this one? The ability to earn slightly more XP for defeating harder versions of Titans. Wait, you mean to say I wasn't already getting that? Okay. Well, we also get the ability to allow the money pits rewards to continue scaling with the amount of gold you throw in past the quindecillion mark. Wait, you mean to say I wasn't already getting? Why did they just arbitrarily turn off the money pit scaling and then force you to complete a wish to actually get the payout you already earned by throwing in more gold in the first place? Okay. What about a boost to adventure stats? I mean, that can't be bad, right? A 3% boost? For a wish that takes like 16 hours to complete? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I get adventure stats are a coveted resource in this game, but like, really? Come on, man, give me a good one already. Inventory slots, don't care. EM power, don't care. EM cap, don't care. EM bars, definitely don't care. Oh, there we go. Finally, more resource 3. This, unfortunately, might actually be pretty helpful. Oh, it's going to take a while, but the payout's got to be worth it, right? A 3% boost? A 3% boost for a wish that takes half a day to complete? You've got to be fucking kidding me. This menu is a joke. But hey, at least if it takes forever to do anything in this menu, it doesn't cost you anything to cast wishes, right? Right. The wish menu's second gimmick is the game's only menu which incorporates the use of all 3 resources simultaneously. Now, this is actually a pretty cool idea for a gimmick, assuming you intend for the 3 different resources to fulfill different functions in the menu. But you would be a very, very naive fool indeed to assume anything good about this menu. No, every single wish in the game simply requires you to invest all 3 of your resources into it and multiplies them together to determine the speed of completion. And of course, it couldn't do this without first applying a hefty serving of diminishing returns to any resource you pump into the menu just to make its progress even slower. Yeah, every single one of these gets raised to the power of 0.17, even harsher diminishing returns than just about any NGU or beard in the game, other than NGU respawn maybe. And the best part? Anything multiplied by 0 equals 0. So if, say, this menu just sucks a fat one and you'd rather invest in hacks, and we say you should just throw your energy and magic at it to make it run at a slower speed, but still at least be making progress in the background while working on what really matters, then oops, 60 trillion energy times 20 trillion magic times 0 resource 3 equals 0 wish progression. Oh, cool! So you're telling me the whole gimmick of this menu is that not only does it take forever to unlock anything, it also demands that you siphon all of your resources into it, and then it proceeds to spit back out pitiful rewards that feel like small quirks rather than something you had to halt all your progress for 8 hours to earn. This has to be a joke. It really is a testament to how garbage this menu is that once I unlocked it, I got the starter wish that gives you a bunch of bonuses to get you started, I got some wish speed boosts, I got one MacGuffin wish, and I just realized that holy shit, this menu is awful. I would literally progress more effectively just hard focusing hacks instead. And the worst part is, I was right! I made significantly more progress just continuing to focus hacks like I had already been doing for months, rather than actually using the shiny brand new menu I had just unlocked. Like, is there a stronger indication that your new feature is a complete failure than the fact that upon me unlocking a brand new feature, I instantly wants to go back to using hacks and never wants to touch wishes again within 3 days of unlocking it? By an entire month into having this menu unlocked, all I had to show for it, not counting the first wish, which in fairness is super strong and good on purpose, benefits on screen now, was a 100% boost to my attack and defense, plus 2 levels to MacGuffins, and a 5% boost to resource 3 power. That was the entire extent of the benefits that this menu had granted me after an entire month of having it unlocked. That is pitiful, man. Oh, and Christ, there's so much wrong here, I nearly forgot to mention the worst part. Not only are wishes tedious as fuck on purpose, and basically intended to force you to AFK and stop playing for hours on end, but if it was just that, then at least you could look forward to wishes getting way faster down the line, and eventually maybe not even taking a whole hour, hopefully. Right? Wrong. Wishes have a hard-coded speed limit. No matter how many resources you invest into a wish, you are not allowed to complete a wish in under 4 hours. You can increase the speed limit with some ludicrously overpriced perks and quirks, painstakingly lowering the limit by 24 seconds at a time per purchase, which once maxed out can eventually lower the limit to 3 hours after investing millions in perk points and quest points combined. 3 hours is the best you're getting. Wow. It's genuinely kind of difficult to really get across how mind-numbingly boring and uneventful this menu is if you haven't experienced it yourself. So this is the best thing I could think to do to help try and get it across if you haven't gotten to this point in the game yourself. You see that footage in the bottom right? Did you notice that I actually froze it more than 3 minutes ago? Oh yeah, that footage has not moved in over 3 minutes. The only reason it looks like it's moving is because this bit has been looping for the past 3.5 minutes. So, wishes suck. What can we do about it? Well, I will admit, since the 1 month mark, I've been able to quickly make a lot of significant progress. And as you can see, I now have a decent amount of wishes complete. So, what happened all of a sudden? Well, part of it is just unfortunately out of your control. The first page of wishes is very snowball-y. It takes forever to be able to get boosts to your resources down to 4 hours to unlock. But once you do, the ball gets rolling. The resource boosting wishes naturally also make your wishes faster since they give more resources. They don't help out quite as much as direct wish speed boosts, but that being said, matching out the wish speed boost wish is practically a prerequisite to even begin using this menu at all. While a 3% boost to energy cap doesn't help much, it does help a bit. And when following that you have a 5% boost to energy power, then the same for magic, and then the same for resource 3 for a total of 6 different wishes, all being able to be completed in 4 hours, all at once, all those small bonuses really do start to add up. Not to mention, each of these resource wishes could be done 10 times, although each consecutive use will make the next one slower. But once you've completed one wave of these things, usually that knocks the second wave down to about 4 hours too. So only after multiple waves of leveling all 6 of these wishes do you get to the point where they really start to stall out. At which point you will have a relatively significant total wish speed boost from all the resource boosts you've earned. Essentially, don't expect to get much of anything from wishes until you can complete these resource wishes in 4 hours. But once you can, things will really start speeding up. As well as that, I've been going even faster because the same time I was able to complete these wishes in 4 hours is also where I began a long rebirth in which I used all 3 beta potions in the shop to double my energy, magic, and resource 3 power until the next rebirth. Though again, due to severe diminishing returns, unfortunately doubling all my resource powers does not make wishes go 8 times faster. It would be lovely if it did, but no. It actually only amounts to a 42.4% speed boost, which is a bit of a shame. But still, it's a 42.4% speed boost. That is the best I'm gonna get. We are desperate here. We need every boost we can get. The only other thing you can do is invest in wish speed, but there are obvious problems there. First of all, at this point in the game, there is no equipment that allows you to increase wish speed. Secondly, no perks that won't cost you weeks of grinding for a total of a 0.2% speed boost, and the same goes for quirks. No luck there. Maybe you can just invest in the resources, but then you can't do that forever because of the severe diminishing returns. That being said, there's nothing better to do, so what is the best option if we are going to invest in resources? Oh god damn it, are you kidding me? More resource 3? Yeah, the only thing you can buy that improves wish speed by a reasonable amount without quickly hitting brutal diminishing returns is getting even more resource 3, since naturally you have far less of it, which means it suffers less from diminishing returns. We've come full fucking circle, we can't escape this button. I'm gonna be hitting this button on my 53rd birthday, thinking surely it's only a couple more days until I can start doing things other than being forced to incessantly spam resource 3 power and cap. No, I refuse to do this shit any longer. There's gotta be other ways to get wish speed boosts. Well, you can get a 13.37% boost, haha, funny elite number, by maxing out the severed unicorn's head, the item that the godmother drops to unlock the wishes menu in the first place. You can buy a flat 25% speed boost to your wishes in the sellout shop for 250,000 AP, which is pretty pricey, but unfortunately kind of necessary. And you can buy the pink heart in the shop as well for 175,000 AP, but even that only provides a 20% speed boost to your wishes at level 100, and that's only while equipped. Unlike the other hearts, the reward isn't to keep the speed boost permanently even while the heart is unequipped. For the pink heart, the reward for maxing it out is a second wish slot. Now, having an extra wish slot does allow you to run multiple wishes at once, but it doesn't actually get you to complete wishes faster. That's not to say it doesn't help. If you split your resources 50-50 across 2 wishes, they both run at 70% speed, so it's sort of a pseudo speed boost, I guess. Still, it doesn't change the fact you're going to be waiting hours upon hours between each wish. It's just maybe you can at least get 2 going at once. I personally have gotten all of those speed boosts except the pink heart, which I'm still waiting to reach level 100 in the Daycare.
Hey, so quick interjection about that point. I was thinking that my pink heart was taking forever to reach level 100 in the Daycare, but this whole time I didn't really think much of it. I mean, I never really focused Daycare speed as a stat, because I guess this is a side tangent, but I think that Daycare speed is one of the most useless stats in the game. It at least becomes a little bit more useful once you can put MacGuffins in the Daycare, but overall the Daycare feels like one of the least important mechanics in the game, so I don't focus it very much. It's literally just always faster to get more of whatever equipment you need more levels in by just grinding for it, no matter how rare it is. Even if it's like a less than 1% drop chance, it's still just faster to grind for it than to put it in the Daycare. Because even with the Daycare digger enabled, it is just that slow. I mean, obviously I still do use the Daycare, because, you know, why not? But I mostly just use it on my forest pendants and my looties. And any free slots I have, I just fill with MacGuffins. Anyway, all that to say, I don't usually pay all that much attention to the Daycare, so when the pink heart was taking forever to level, I thought maybe I was just impatient. But it really did feel like it was taking longer than usual. Turns out I was right. For some reason, every single heart in the game only takes a base amount of time of 8 hours to level up in the Daycare. Except the pink heart and the rainbow heart, which take 24 hours. Are you fucking kidding me? Now, with the amount of Daycare speed I have, they go just under triple the speed, so it does eventually get down to about 8 hours. But of course, that means that if I'm going for any other heart, it only takes about 2 1/3 hours to be able to level up, whereas, yeah, the pink one takes forever. I just wanted to bring this up just to really illustrate how screwed you are at this point in the game. Even if you did save enough arbitrary points to buy the pink heart the second you unlock the wishes menu, it still takes so long to actually level it up to level 100 in the Daycare so that you can actually get the extra wish slot that genuinely, I'm not sure if it's really possible to actually have it ready at level 100 before you've already crossed the typo wall. I mean, I know this is the base speed, not the speed it will go once you factor in all your speed boosts, but even still, the base speed it would take for you to be able to get this thing to level 100 from the level 10 you buy it at would quite literally be 90 days or 3 months. A whole quarter of a year you have to wait to actually be able to use this thing after you've already bought it. And I mean, sure, maybe I'm going at almost triple speed, but even going at almost triple speed, that still means I have to wait over a month to be able to actually use the heart I already bought. So that sucks. I mean, I get it. Stronger hearts that come in later at the game take longer in the daycare, but I guess the main reason it pisses me off is it literally only starts with the pink heart. Like, if anything, I feel like even though it's technically worse, I would be less mad if it started with the grey heart, the heart that increases hack speed. Because then I'd actually understand, okay, right, so the hearts in normal mode take 8 hours and the hearts in evil mode and onwards take 24 hours. But no, the grey heart does take 8 hours like all the other ones. It's just the pink heart and the rainbow heart. And I don't know, it just winds me up because, like, if they just made the pink heart like all the other hearts, 8-hour wait time, then you could actually get it going before you were done with the typo wall and speed up this extremely bland, boring, stagnant part of the game. Like, why'd they even bother increasing the time for specifically only the last 2 hearts in the game? Why? 100 in the daycare, and I still can't get my wishes to go fast enough. This whole playthrough, I've made a point to avoid consulting any community resource other than the Wiki, because I don't know what the fun of this game is supposed to be if you're following a guide. The whole challenge is figuring out how you want to use your resources, and I didn't want anyone telling me what to do. This part of the game drove me so mad though, that I finally caved and I decided to consult the NGU Idle Discord for help. Or, if there was no help to be given, as I kind of already suspected, at the very least to get a sanity check to see that I'm not crazy. Just before I did, though, I made one more desperate gambit. I searched the entire wiki for every single mention of wish speed, just to make double, triple, quadruple sure I didn't miss anything. I didn't even care if it was something I wouldn't even be able to touch until much later. I needed to know. I needed to know for sure I wasn't missing anything. And there I saw it. The Typo Zone, the very next area in adventure mode I would be able to travel to, if I could just get a little bit more adventure stats. The set completion bonus for the Typo Zone is a permanent 20% wish speed boost. That last boost could help so much, but it's just barely too far out of reach to matter. And that's because of the absolute chasm that lies between the Godmother and the Typo Zone. To be able to fight enemies in the Typo Zone without just getting the floor wiped with you, let alone idle them, the wiki suggests that you would need around 150 quintillion power and 70 quintillion toughness. This is just under 1,000 times the stats required to reach the previous adventure zone, the interdimensional party, and about 100 times the stats required to take on the first version of the Godmother. For reference, most adventure zones contain enemies just over around 10 times stronger than the last area. For this one area in particular though, at this extremely tedious point in the game, 4G apparently just decided to make that number 1,000 times stronger for some reason. Cool, thanks 4G. Not only is this a stupid idea in the first place, but why did you pick literally the worst point in the game to do this? This absolute gaping chasm within which there is no significant progression to be made until this giant of a gap has been crossed would already be agonizingly grindy without all the other issues in the game stacking up. But the sheer scale of the gap isn't even the worst part of it. Remember, NGUs don't do shit anymore, which means your main method of grinding adventure stats is no longer functional. The Fruit of Adventure scales slightly better, but still makes very slow and unimpressive progress. The Iron Pill can only be used once every 12 hours and barely makes a dent in your adventure stats per use, even if you buy the Iron Pill Sucks perk to buff its stat output to 26 times the normal amount. Yes, you heard that right. The Iron Pill sucks so bad that even multiplying the stat boost it grants by 26 times still doesn't make it stop being terrible. And maybe maxing out the second
second Iron Pill perk could help by increasing that 26 times boost to a 104 times boost, but while that would probably start to make the Iron Pill somewhat more worthwhile, it also costs 99,999 perk points to do so. Had fun doing nothing but grinding perk points for the better half of your 20s just to take your Iron Pill power from garbage to palatable. Sounds fun. The only method in the entire game left to gain adventure stats that still works at a decent pace is... ding ding ding! The adventure stat hack! Ooh, have fun grinding even more Resource 3! Oh, you can buy adventure stats with XP, but that's just a flat bonus. You know what scales better in the long term? Resource 3! Ding ding ding! You can wish for more adventure stats, a painstaking 3% at a time, and maybe you should probably do a little bit of that, but you know what's usually faster? Just hard focusing hacks. Want to try increasing your adventure stats using quirks? Not worth it. Not unless you invest in the QP hack first, which requires even more Resource 3. Want to try doing it using perks instead? Well, that's basically your only way out, but you are not gonna like it. There is a perk which will double your adventure stats when maxed, and it costs 100 perk points at a time to level. Combined with hacks and maybe a little boost from wishes, you can probably bridge the gap using this perk. Do you want to know how many levels it takes to max it? 10 levels? 50 levels? 100 levels? 200 levels? Yeah, no. Try 1,000 levels. Have fun holding up a grand total of 100,000 perk points over the course of weeks of grinding just to escape this vicious cycle. Oh, and remember, NGU PP and Respawn are giving you like nothing right now. So you can't even really start making significant progress on this until you get a good couple hundred levels in the PP hack, which incidentally is the third slowest hack in the game. What's that? If that's the third slowest, what are the slowest hacks? Well, the hack is the second slowest, naturally, and the slowest hack is the... Wait, the wish speed hack. Wait, now that I have enough Resource 3 to level this, is this my way out? Oh my god, is this how I get my wishes going? Oh, finally, I can't wait. The hack only grants a 0.01% speed boost per level. Even factoring in the milestone bonus, 50 levels in this hack, which will probably take like a whole day to earn at this rate, that only correlates to a 1% boost to wish speed. In other words, it shaves like 2 minutes off of a 5-hour wish in return for a day's worth of grinding. Oh, and not to mention, even once you manage to gain 150 quintillion power to be able to fight in the Typo Zone, that's only for manual combat. If you want to AFK there, like you'll definitely need to do for days on end to be able to max out the entire set of equipment in there, especially with the ludicrously low drop chances, you need to get up to 370 quintillion power and 240 quintillion toughness. And that is without beast mode. With beast mode, you're going to need 880 quintillion power and 400 quintillion toughness. Truth be told, while maxing out this adventure perk probably gets me to the Typo Zone, I still won't be able to AFK there. So unless hacks really start to ramp up soon and I can focus adventure hack, I have no idea how I'm going to get enough stats to AFK there without some ludicrous grinding. Just, what happened here, man? Yggdrasil was a great menu. Gold Diggers was a great menu. The Beards menu literally became my favorite menu in the game. NGUs are literally the single most fundamental menu in the entire game. Or at least they should be. What happened to these menus in Evil difficulty? Why do all the menus that you unlock suck now? It already kind of started with MacGuffins and questing, but at least they were somewhat useful. Hacks, as I said, are just cloned NGUs that just force you to spam Resource 3 buying, and now we get the Wishes menu. This section of the game has been so god-awful. It has become the one point that made me pause and consider whether I wanted to quit playing NGU Idle, despite the fact I was already in this deep. And I'll be quite honest, I might have done it. If I'm 100% honest with you, the only thing that kept me from quitting was reading the Wiki page on the cards menu. The next menu I'll unlock if I stick at it and make my way to the 9th Titan, the Exile. I obviously haven't been able to play with it yet, but from everything I've been reading, the cards menu genuinely seems like the coolest fucking menu in the game. And if I didn't know it was coming next, I would have already jumped ship by now. Why would I continue to play a game that has such little respect for my time? In fact, such little respect for both my time and my intelligence. I know it's like not on purpose, but my god, really, some of these bonuses, quote unquote, feel like a spit in the face. They feel like an insult. Again, like the money pit one. Oh yeah, we just decided it'd be funny if we turned off the money pit and you have to use a wish to turn it back on. Okay, cool. Could you just like not do that? Or at least give me a real reward? Or honestly, even if you're not going to give me a reward and you're going to give me a fuck you, I'd at least prefer you be honest about it rather than pretend that you're giving me a real privilege, giving me the option of being able to turn my money pit back on if I sit here and wait 8 hours. Needless to say, this section of the game desperately needs fixing. So, what can be done about it? Well, first off, there are way too many challenge rewards that feel useless in evil mode. What about a 5% wish speed boost per completion of the laser sword challenge, since apparently we were too lazy to give that one a reward, huh? What about replacing these stupid troll challenge rewards that just give you permission to use wishes you should be able to use anyway, and won't even be able to afford for months anyway? Instead, how about we just replace that with like tripling the effectiveness of the Iron Pill and Fruit of Adventure to finally get some decent adventure stat scaling, huh? What about adding Beard to Resource 3 so that Resource 3 bars aren't useless? I wouldn't even care if you locked those behind challenge completions actually to unlock, because beards would actually be more groundbreaking. Especially considering how expensive Resource 3 gets, you could get away with some crazy beards too. MacGuffin beard, XP beard, AP beard, respawn speed beard, hack speed beard, wish speed beard. I'm just spitballing here. Just as long as it helps give us options this late into the game so the game doesn't become brain dead spamming Resource 3. Or at the very least, if it's going to be brain dead spamming Resource 3, make me actually consider whether I'd like to get Resource 3 bars instead of just spamming power and cap and power and cap. Move that Daycare slot on the Troll Challenge into the final completion reward for the Blind Challenge maybe, and put the Resource 3 beard unlock condition on the Troll Challenge 3 instead. And lastly, could we not make the wish speed hack kick in a little bit faster? I mean, again, I've had this menu for over a month now, and I only have a 0.15% wish speed boost in total throughout this hack. That is pitiful. Clearly, this menu needs the boost. I'm sure the game wouldn't shatter to pieces if you just made the wish speed hack start working a little bit early on. But anyway, that's my quick sort of general solution to fix this awful part of the game. Surely next update, my dream shall be realized. Oh wait. We can only hope NGU Idle 2 will be better. That is, if NGU Idle 2 is even real. I didn't initially plan this, but I've got a little bit of an epilogue section for this video here. You see, all of this voiceover you've been hearing so far has been recorded in the past, and now you're hearing where I am right now. I have finally broken through the typo wall, and as expected, the second you break through this wall, progress massively speeds up and the game starts being fun again. However, now that I am on the other side, I kind of say there was one thing I did miss in my complaints in this video. And it doesn't really address my complaints, but at least now I can kind of see how maybe this part of the game ended up as screwed up as it is. You see, believe it or not, it wasn't actually even reaching the typo zone that gave me a massive speed boost to my progression. It did help, obviously, but I would say it was only about a third of the massive speed boost I got. And about 2/3 of the massive boost in power I got came from something completely different, which actually ended up being the very thing which gave me that last push I needed to be able to get all the gear in the typo zone. Before this point, I'd finally maxed out my adventure stat perk, and I still was about 30,000 power short of even being able to manual the typo zone, and even at that point, we're talking about maybe grind for 2 hours and you might get like one piece of level 1 equipment. And that's manual, you can't do that automatically. So even once I hit that threshold, which I was just a little bit shy of, I would not even really be able to get much equipment in the typo zone. I could just maybe get one piece of equipment and throw it in the daycare for a few days to get a few extra levels on it. I was about to throw in the towel. I've been doing this one run for ages since, again, I've been using all 3 energy beta potions, all 3 resource beta potions to be able to go super fast in this rebirth. And the second I click rebirth, I would lose that bonus. So I never planned for this rebirth to go this long, but it kept getting a little bit longer and a little bit longer because I'd just be like, oh, but if I could just get a little bit further, I could do this. Or if I could just get a little bit further, I could do this. And honestly, I was at the point where I was thinking, man, even if I get this extra little bit of power so that I can finally go into the typo zone, I'm going to get one piece of equipment and then throw it in the daycare and that's it. Is it really worth continuing this rebirth for even longer? Is it time I just finally bit the bullet and rebirthed?
But something happened that pushed me over the edge and gave me a ludicrous boost to my speed, and also made me do this run for even longer, and oh my god, I've been on this rebirth for nearly a month now. I did not intend this. So enough beating around the bush, what is it? Well, it's to do with a mechanic, I guess I'm going to call it, that I haven't really covered in these videos so far, because up until now, it's been practically irrelevant. I briefly mentioned it earlier, but for those of you who didn't know what I was talking about, it's the pendants and the looties. You see, there are two kinds of items in this game that you will see constantly in just about every single adventure zone and titan fight in the entire game. Those being the looty items and the pendant items. And their whole gimmick is that they are really, really underpowered, but they're really easy to come by, and when they reach level 100, they transform into the next tier. The next tier will have different effects, usually better effects, and the next tier can be raised to level 100 to get to the next tier, and the next tier, and the next tier. And the reason I haven't talked about them so far is because, to be honest, while you do see them everywhere, they kinda suck usually. Like, don't get me wrong, still get them. You're gonna be getting them for free throughout the entire game, so there's no point in not using them. But I'm not gonna lie, I mostly just throw stuff into them for satisfaction's sake, and I never really focus them, because I mean, like, they never really gave me any worthwhile benefits. Almost always, by the time they transformed, they would just be a little bit behind the kind of power I already had in my other equipment. Like, they wouldn't be bad, but they just wouldn't be good enough. However, with all that said, I finally managed to get the Ascended Forest Pendant. And I did look ahead at the wiki at what some of these later forest pendants do, and I did note that the 7th Ascended Forest Pendant, that's like 1/7 up, that one gave hack speed boost, which would have been huge, but that one, of course, was the 7th one, and the one I just reached was only the 6th one. I did take a quick peek at the 6th one, but all I saw was that it improved your resource 3, cap, bars, and power, and I kind of glazed over it. I was like, okay, well, that's not bad, but that's not super impressive either. Then I actually got it, and I realized it's broken. Because while it does just boost your resource 3, the amount by which it boosts your resource 3 is ludicrous. It gives you plus 100% resource 3 power, plus 50% resource 3 cap, and plus 100% bars. Especially the cap bonus here is ludicrous, because even high quality resource 3 cap increasing equipment at this point in the game usually gives less than 7%. This is 50%. That is ludicrous. So yeah, essentially your resource 3 power will more than double the second you even unlock this pendant. And that's the big thing that pushed me over the edge. The second I had this Ascended ×6 pendant, I could just power through enormous swaths of the game super fast. And in fact, it even had a bit of a domino effect, where once I could get ludicrously fast hack levels on all of my hacks, I finally hit a point where, because of the fact that I hadn't been leveling evil NGUs for a while, and I now just got a whole bunch of NGU speed boosts through hacks, NGUs were finally worthwhile again. I could level low-level evil NGUs at 50 times per second, and even mid-level ones at about like 25 to about 13 times per second. And obviously the fact that NGUs started actually mattering again helped the progression of the game massively as well. Not to mention all this on top of actually reaching the Typo Zone and getting such a boost from the ludicrous power of this pendant that I not only got enough to manual the Typo Zone, but almost immediately after got enough to idle the Typo Zone. And even now, only a day later, I'm now able to idle the Typo Zone in beast mode. So don't get me wrong, I'm happy that this thing bailed me out a little bit, but I also feel like it didn't really come at an ideal time. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy I got it, but like, it kind of feels like I was supposed to get it sooner, if you know what I mean. And you could say, well, you should have focused it sooner, but here's the problem. You can't, for the most part, really physically get forest pendants any faster than the game gives them to you, you know? Like, you get them basically everywhere all the time just for existing, but you can't really do much to get them faster. The only thing you can really do is you can boost drop chance, which I have been doing anyway to get Godmother drops. And even then, boosting drop chance doesn't really increase the frequency of them all that much. The only other thing you can do is you can use the Daycare, but as I already mentioned, I have been using the Daycare. Because of the very fact that I do think the Daycare is kind of useless, that's basically the only thing I've been using it for, is for looties and forest pendants. I don't know, the only thing I could maybe have done is invested more in Daycare speed, but then again, considering how weak that stat is, I don't think I'd really care that much. I don't think it would be worth it in the end. I must admit, I get the feeling I was kind of supposed to get this, like, early on at the typo wall point in the game, but it might just be that I manualed this game so much that I progressed faster than expected. And again, you can't really do much to make yourself get this pennant faster or slower, so if I was manualing too much and going faster than expected, then it would make sense I would get this too late. Either way, from here on out, it looks like it's going to be much smoother sailing, at least until sadistic difficulty. The next few adventure zones have much smaller gaps in between each other than the Typo Zone did. And on top of that, while I'm not prepared yet, I'm already not even that far away from being able to take on the next Titan, the Exile. With all that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Guys, help, I can't end this rebirth until I max out the Badlands set, but that means I'm going to make this go even longer. My god, it's nearly a 31 days. Stop me.